Hey, good morning, Fervent fam. So good to see you. My name is Matthew Davis. I'm the Generations Pastor here. I'm so excited to be with you today. You just better buckle yourself in. I don't know that I am the best dressed, definitely not the best looking. I'm not sure where I fit into the staff. That's for you to decide. Throw it in the chat right now. Wait, that's dangerous. You got to be nice though. So throw in the chat what you think I am, how I fit in. But so glad to be with you today. I get to talk about changing your course. This whole series is about how to change. And today is about changing your course. Here's the thesis of everything. Before you desire to see change, He first needs to change your heart. Once He changes your heart, He will then change your thoughts. Once He changes your thoughts, He will then change your character. Once He changes your character, He will then change your habit. Once He changes your habits, He will then change your course. That's today. Finally, once He changes your course, He will then change your destination. That's next week. One thing that I have learned in my life is that shortcuts are awesome. I absolutely love shortcuts. I learned it at a young age. I don't know how many of you guys remember Pac-Man back in the bit days, and this little yellow monster that would eat the food and would swallow the ghosts and run away from the ghosts. It was epic. Great game. But there were a couple of sections of the board that if you needed to get to the other side of the board, you could take a little shortcut, jump over there, get away from the ghosts, and finish the level. I love that. It just amped me up as a kid. Like, that is a shortcut that was built in. Like, you can see it. And it was just exciting for me. And then it became more like real life when I got into high school. When I was late for work, I found a shortcut that wasn't necessarily less miles, but I could go a little bit faster, that would get me there on time. And it's crazy because it was my parents' restaurant, so that's not a good look to be showing up late to your parents' restaurant. But if I could take this one dirt road and fly down this other road, I could make it on time. Shortcuts are incredible. Anytime we can figure out how to shave 30 seconds off of our destination, of the time to get to our destination, we just get stoked, don't we? It just pumps us up. Today we're going to focus on the process of God changing our course, though. Please remember this. This is critical as we get started here. God will never force your course. He will never make you go the way that He sees best for you. Now, He may send some alarms your way. He may try to wake you up when you're going the wrong direction, but He will never force your course. It's your decision to make to go the direction that is best for your life. To be honest, many Christians choose to live below God's best for them. They do, and you might be one of them. But for those who truly dare to follow Jesus, taking chances on an uncertain future, it's just how we roll. We like to take those chances and live life on the edge. It's all about taking a dangerous course. Simply put, there are God-given shortcuts that will help you get to His destination. Now, to be clear, it doesn't make your life easier. It doesn't make the challenges go away. It doesn't mean that you have to not be disciplined. It doesn't mean that you don't have to be careful and make good decisions. It doesn't mean any of that. It doesn't mean that you can be lazy. It just means that if you choose this shortcut for the course that He shows you and reveals to you on His map for your life, you can get to your destination much, much quicker, be more effective, and be more fruitful. It's powerful. So here, let's dive into the message today. Our first point is this. Our course should always take us away from our past. Duh, right? I mean, whatever course you're on, it should be taking you away from your past. Seems like a no-brainer. The problem is, some of us are just walking in circles. That's the problem. It's like that part in the movie where the crew is at that moment that everybody's scared and nervous and what's going to happen, and they start taking this path to try to get to safety, and all of a sudden they realize, we've seen this before. I'm picturing, maybe not a movie, but like on Scooby-Doo, right? You know, the crew, and they're just like, you know, stumbling around in the woods, and all the goblins are out, and all the scary guys trying to get them are out, and they just keep going around the same tree, the same tree, the same tree. We continue drawing toxic circles in our life when our course does not take us away from our past. It's important to understand. We make the choice to go in circles. We have to choose to get on God's course, which takes us away from our past. We mistake time passing for successful living. And let me tell you, friends, just because you've lived a long time does not mean you've had a successful life. There are choices you have to make sure that you're not living in a circle that doesn't get anywhere. Eventually, we wonder why we keep seeing the same landscape go by us. Eventually, we start to wonder, why do I keep having this same problem? Why do I keep having this same issue at work? Why do I keep having the same problem with my children or with my spouse? Why do I keep having the same argument with my friends? It's because you haven't changed your course. Your course, if correct, will take you away from your past. It's critical to remember. As a dog eats its own vomit, so fools recycle silliness. That's in Proverbs 26, verse 11. It's disgusting to think about, but it's very true for our lives. The solution is being crystal clear about our course. It's taking responsibility of where we are headed, taking it on ourselves. There are bad things that we have to get away from. Crystal clear with our course. And if we are crystal clear with that, there are bad things we have to get away from. To be honest, those are the easiest things to get away from. Because yeah, sure, there's times when we're blinded to the bad things that we're doing, the bad choices we're making, maybe the bad relationships we're in. We're blinded to it. But then all of a sudden, the light turns on, and we're like, what in the world am I doing with my life? And we realize there's changes I have to make. There are some bad things I need to fix. And a lot of times that is the easiest thing in being crystal clear and setting your course. And then there's also good things that we have to get away from. And that's a little bit harder, right? It's a little bit harder to set your course to get you away from good things. It's more difficult to carry out. There are things that we thoroughly enjoy in this life, but they were only intended for a specific season. This is what 1 Corinthians 13:11 says. When I was an infant at my mother's breast, I gurgled and cooed like an infant. When I grew up, I left those infant ways for good. I think it's a good thing that my mom doesn't feed me anymore. I've advanced past that. I believe you have too. And so it's important for us in our Christian walk that all those, there are things that are good, things we enjoy, things that we appreciate about church and the way it maybe used to be. There is a forward movement that's happening right now. And we got to make sure that we make our mind up that it's okay to leave good things behind so we can get to the great things God has in front of us. Important for us today. Growth requires leaving behind what we enjoy. And this is my question for you. How many times have we slowed our growth by hanging on to something that we enjoyed just a little bit too much? Take inventory today. Ask yourself that question. But just like there are bad things that we need to leave behind, there are good things that we need to leave behind in our course, getting out of the circle, the death circle, and just moving forward. There are also neutral things that we need to leave behind. And to be honest, in my opinion, this is the most difficult. This is the hardest thing to break away from. There is nothing worse for the advancement of your soul than simply coasting through life. The creator of the universe didn't breathe life into your soul so that you could sit in neutral. That was not his best plan for you. Friends, you have some neutral things right now that are slowing you down, that are holding you back, and you need to leave them in the past. Are they bad? No. Are they good? But they are not the course God has set for you. They're causing you to continually go in a circle. Following Jesus, the Son of God, changes things. Your life is going to get turned upside down. Your friends are going to look at you kind of weird and be like, dude, what choices are you making? This is not like the old person that we knew. You will feel, here's what's crazy, you're going to feel, if you're following Jesus correctly, you're going to feel like you're on a lifelong Six Flags ride. It's going to be bananas. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be awesome. But if these things aren't happening to you, if your friends aren't questioning you, if your family isn't questioning you, if things haven't really changed for you, if you're still in neutral, then you're not doing it right. Following Jesus is a wild adventure. It's life to the fullest. So keep that in mind. So our course should always take us away from our past. Make sure you're not in neutral. Secondly, our course determines our estimated time of arrival. Our course determines our ETA. What was the longest road trip that you and your family ever took? I want you to drop it in the chat. I want you to drop in there where you were headed and how long it took you. Be creative in how you throw that in there. I'm genuinely curious. Like right now, type it in. If you're on your phone, pull up the keyboard and type it in. I want to know, where were you headed? How long did it take you? And then maybe for some of you, it's like, well, it should have taken this, but it took this. I really am curious. Make sure you get that in there. But I personally love long trips. Road trips are incredible to me. They're therapeutic. I love that long haul. Now, to be clear, I don't like trips to take longer than they should. I want to get there as long as it should take me to get there. But if they're long, I don't care. I'm all in for the ride. I'm a road warrior. The longer, the better. But have you noticed that there is something very satisfying? I mean, crazy satisfying about when you get to that destination and you beat Google Maps ETA for you. It just feels so good. It feels so good. I don't know, maybe it was a shortcut you found, or maybe it was you drove longer, more consistently than others. I know it wasn't because you drove over the speed limit. We all know that's not true. But you just drove better, right? And you got there. It's a really cool thing to beat the ETA of Google. Well, we can all agree that no matter where your longest trip was, no matter what your next trip looks like, or no matter how often you beat Google's ETA, the Israelites have us beat, hands down. We can all agree on that. There was a trip that they were taking from slavery to the Promised Land. And it should have taken them about 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, it's debatable. Like, people talk about it, and they look at the map and they talk about what it should take for that many people to go that far, but about 2 to 3 weeks. It took them 40 years. 40 years. They have us beat, guys. They did not beat Google Maps ETA. But here's my next question. Have you ever heard about Philip? This is wild. Check this out. Acts 8:26-40. Later, God's angel spoke to Philip. At noon today, I want you to walk over to the desolate road that goes from Jerusalem down to Gaza. He got up and went. He met an Ethiopian eunuch coming down the road. The eunuch had been on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem and was returning to Ethiopia, where the minister was in charge of all the finances of Candace, queen of the Ethiopians. He was riding in a chariot and reading the prophet Isaiah. The Spirit told Philip, "Climb into the chariot." Running up alongside, Philip heard the eunuch reading Isaiah and asked, "Do you understand what you're reading?" It's amazing to me. How did he do that? He answered, "How can I without some help?" And invited Philip into the chariot with him. The passage he was reading was this: "As a sheep led to slaughter, and quiet as a lamb being sheared, he was silent, saying nothing. He was mocked and put down, never got a fair trial. But who can count his kin since he's been taken from the earth?" The eunuch said, "Tell me, who is the prophet talking about, himself or some other?" Philip grabbed his chance. Using this passage as his text, he preached Jesus to him. As they continued down the road, they came to a stream of water. The eunuch said, "Here's water, why can't I be baptized?" You talk about instant obedience. He understood it clearly and said, "I need to obey." He ordered the chariot to stop. They both went down to the water. Philip baptized him on the spot. When they came up out of the water, the Spirit of God suddenly took Philip off. And that was the last the eunuch saw of him. But he didn't mind. He had what he'd come for and went on down the road as happy as he could be. Philip showed up in Azotus and continued north, preaching the message in all the villages along the route until he arrived in Caesarea. Crazy. I mean, just put your mind in that moment. Try to picture that happening. A true Star Trek moment, like boom, transported, he's gone. It's unreal. Philip obeyed and was transported immediately to his next gig. God said, "All right, you're done here. Thank you for obeying. Now I want you to go over here. Teach those people." And my point being this: your course will determine your ETA. If you are choosing to wander through the wilderness and not follow God's direction, not completely obey, not be completely all in, not do all the things that God is clearly asking you to do, it's going to take you longer to get where you're going. But when you choose to obey, and God says, "Go do this, go say that, be here," I can't promise you a Star Trek transport experience. But what's going to happen is God's going to take you from appointment to appointment to appointment to appointment. He's going to keep taking you through places where you are being fulfilled and changing other people's life. You will get to your destination quicker. Your ETA will be more effective, and you'll continue to beat Google Maps for your life. Can anybody say amen? 40 years in the wilderness or instant transport? Which would you prefer? Which would you prefer? Question for you. Are your current choices moving you closer to or further from God's best plan for your life? You need to ask that. Check yourself. Make sure that you're not just living in neutral and that you're getting a solid ETA. So our course should always take us away from our past. Our course determines our estimated time of arrival. Third, our course is not about opening doors, but closing them. I have spent most of my life opening doors for others. I think that it happened in high school. I was obsessed with chivalry, knights, medieval time. And for whatever reason, I decided that I'm going to be chivalrous and I'm going to open doors, especially for the ladies. But anybody that I can, right? Just to be a blessing for people. And so it's become part of our family's ritual and routine that we open doors for each other. And I've trained my boys, don't ever let a woman open their own door. Now, it's not the only way. It may not be for every family, but it's right for us. But it's kind of funny because as it's gone, it's kind of diverted a little bit because we try to race to see who can open the door for other people. And so my boys get a kick out of being able to open my door and say to me gracefully, "My lady." It's kind of funny. But it's just been part of our life, is opening the doors. I enjoy opening doors for others. And I think, honestly, on a spiritual level, we should all be about that. What doors can we help open for other people spiritually? But here's my thing today, is that I really don't want to talk about open doors because open doors can be paralyzing. They can. Don't believe me? It can happen in two different ways. Here are the two ways. First of all, there aren't any that we want to take. We have all these open doors out in front of us, and we don't want to take any of them. So we freeze. We paralyze. We don't move at all because we don't like any of the doors. None of them are good. We're not satisfied. The other side of that is we look at all the doors out in front of us, and we hate them all. None of them are good. We don't want to walk through any of those doors, even though they're open for us. And obviously we need to go some direction. So again, we're paralyzed. We don't move. I want to really reframe the open door for you. I want to help you see the open door as in the past. The open door is in the past. There should be no open doors in your future for this conversation. Now let me explain. Are there open doors in your future? Absolutely. But once that open door is there, you're already through it. You're not wasting time. You're not worrying, wondering, questioning, what should I, if, how is this going to be bad, how is this going to be good? It's just don't get paralyzed. If there is a correct door in front of you, get it in your past already. Bust through that door, all right? Bust through it. But let's get back to the idea that our course is not about opening doors, but about closing them. Let's flip our mind here. We will know that we have allowed God to set our course when we start closing doors that we used to prop open. Did you feel that? Some of you are propping doors open because you want to sneak back in at some point. You're like, I loved this part of my life, and I know God says no, but I mean, if I'm just not totally in, and I like sneak in every once in a while or peek in, that's okay, right? No, it's not. Close the doors. Your course is not as much about opening doors, it's about closing doors. You've got to close the doors in your past that God says no to. Keep moving forward. It's time to start closing doors. There are things that we should no longer be a part of. It goes back to what was said in previous week. Pastor Barry said it this way about character. Don't mourn character development. Don't mourn character development. And that means don't feel bad or cry or feel sad about God changing you and making you better. Celebrate those closed doors. Be thankful that you don't have to deal with that junk anymore. And then Pastor Mike last week, we don't have to live in the past to honor it. Close those doors. Shut them. You don't need that anymore. You don't need that to be part of your route. You don't need that door slightly cracked, slowing your progress down, tempting you to circle back so that it takes you 40 years to get to where God is trying to take you. Stop keeping those doors open. Following Jesus changes our course, which requires character development and changing habits, also known as slamming doors shut so hard that the hinges fall off. We should hear that this morning. Some of you need to make a decision right now. I'm done. I'm done with this. No more. This is in my past forever. I am not going to go back in that door. You've got to set your course right. Set it right. You've got to keep the doors behind you shut, even the open doors that you walk through. Critically important. A great example of staying on course by closing doors was the transformation of Saul to Paul. Saul was a threat to Christians, literally killing them off. What you need to know about Saul, he was a brilliant leader of leaders. The only problem was he was a defiant enemy to the followers of Jesus. But Saul had his own life-transforming event on the road to Damascus, which changed his course. God said, look, buddy, I'm going to slam some doors shut in your life, and I'm going to open one door. You walk through it right now. Get it in your past so you can move on with your course. It was such a shift. His name changed from Saul to Paul. The kicker, Paul became even more effective. He became even more fervent as Paul, the follower of Jesus, than he was as Saul, the killer of Christians. The word is escaping me what I'm trying to say here. But he became more effective as a follower of Jesus than as an enemy of Jesus. It's critically important for us. It was a shift. That was the kicker. Romans 6, 1-3 says this. So what do we do? Keep on sinning so God can keep on forgiving? I should hope not. If we've left the country where sin is sovereign, how can we still live in our old house there? Or didn't you realize we packed up and left there for good? That is what happened in baptism. When we went under the water, we left the old country of sin behind. When we came up out of the water, we entered into the new country of grace, a new life in a new land. Can't you just hear the door slamming in that verse? We're done with it. The past is gone. Sin land is over. We can't live in that house anymore. The door is shut. The house is burned down. What doors do you need to slam shut forever? That's my question for you today. Don't fool yourself. We cannot change until we allow God to change our course. You can't do it. You will not be a different person unless you give God the ability to control your steering wheel. You can't. He's got to be in control of your course. I want to talk to two people right now. Those who have been attending church for a long time. I want to talk to you. You're part of the church family. You've been here. You built this place. You're the foundation. You're the walls. You're the one that carried this burden. Put it on your shoulders and march forward when nobody else thought it could happen. I want to tell you that your spiritual tenure does not exempt you from setting your course straight. Just being around doesn't mean that you've learned it all. I know that's true in my life, and I believe it to be true for your life. You will never fully develop as a follower of Jesus until you allow God to change your course. For some of us, this is a pivotal moment right now. We need to make that decision. God, you got control. I'm tired of going in this death circle, this toxic circle. I'm seeing the same thing over and over again. Getting mad at the same things over and over again. Getting frustrated. I want to move forward. That's a decision we have to make. I want to also speak to those who haven't attended church a long time. Friend, today is your day of salvation. This is not an accident that you stumbled on our feed. Maybe a friend told you about it. Maybe you saw a Facebook ad from another friend and you just happened to be here. I don't know how you're on here, how you got the link to this. I don't even know when you're watching. But I'm telling you, today is your day of salvation. You can have that Saul to Paul moment in your life where God says, all the doors are slammed shut. There's one. Walk through it. Follow me. It's going to be the adventure of your lifetime. Salvation is incredible. God will forgive you of your sins, set your course straight. Your life isn't perfect, but you're on your way to the destination that God has planned for you, for His best plan for your life. He created you for so much more than you've had up to this point. It's time to step into that. So I want to pray for you guys. I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. I'm going to pray with my eyes open. I don't do this. This is new for me. But I want to connect with you right now. I want you to understand that you and I are having a conversation together with God. I'm going to speak on your behalf, and I want you to agree with me. So look me dead in the eyes. This moment can change everything. So fellow believer, this is for you. God, forgive me. Forgive me that there have been times when I thought I had it all together. Forgive me for the times I thought I was the professional and I was the expert and I knew everything, how it should go. Forgive me for the times when I allowed my course to be directed by my preferences instead of by your plan. God, forgive me for the times that I did not check myself and close the doors that needed to be closed so I could effectively move closer to my destination quicker. God, set my course straight. Help me to make sure that my future will be so much more effective, so much more fervent than my past. Help me, God, to be an influencer in the movement that is happening right now in these days that we are living in at this moment. In Jesus' name, amen. Now, for those of you that want to give your life to Jesus, I know that there's going to be opportunity for you to click a link right there on the chat and let us know so that we can partner with you and pray with you again. But I want to pray with you right now. And it's this simple. It's you and me and God right now. God, thank you for your love for me. We both know that I've messed up. I've made bad choices. I have things that I regret. There's things that keep me awake at night that I wish I could change. But God, at this moment, I feel your love in a powerful way. And I need your forgiveness. God, forgive me of my sins. Jesus, wash over me. Set my course straight. Help me to live a wild and dangerous life for you. Help me to start doing things that make people notice that there is a change and a shift. Bring me to my destination. Bring me to my destiny. Bring me to the promised land that you have for me. And don't let it take years, but let it be moments. God, take me to all the things that I need to go through right now in obedience so that I can be effective for you. Help me with every decision I make to honor you, to glorify you, and to make a difference in this world for you. In Jesus' name, amen. Aren't you thankful for God's love? I don't know where I would be without it. I don't know where I'd be. Not one of us is perfect. We've all fallen short. But thank God that He has a course that He is setting for us. And I want to take a moment right now. I know this is a little bit unusual, but I'm going to put a plug right here at the end for the teenagers in the house. And even if you're not watching, parents, I'm putting you on blast. Make sure you listen and take action on behalf of your teenager. Listen to me. There is no more crucial time than your teenage years to set in stone the direction for your life. It's a powerful moment to be able to set how you are going to, the course that you're going to be on. Does it make you perfect? No. Does it take away future problems? No. Does it take away future challenges? No. But if you can get it set in your mind, this is my direction. I'm going this way no matter what. At an early age, your chances to having an impact on the kingdom are so much greater, and having a fuller life is so much greater. So parents, we have an opportunity right now. Teenagers, we have an opportunity right now. Wild Days already started this last Thursday. But I want you to know, I'm keeping the door open one more week. You may have missed one day, but this next Thursday is going to be our next session of Wild Days. There's only 5 weeks left. And it's a crazy busy schedule. From 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 at night, it is jam-packed with God's stuff. It's jam-packed with an opportunity for us to look inside, to make decisions for our life that launch us into the future and also make a difference for Fervent. So please, I'm asking you, register. There's going to be a link on the chat. Go there, register, get signed up. We'll get you plugged in. You've missed one, but you don't need to miss any more. Get there. It's your choice. Do you want to take the right course or not? All right, Fervent, I'm so glad that we got to hang out today. It's been fun for me. I hope that it made sense to you, and I'm looking forward to how this is going to impact our future. God bless you. Have an incredible, incredible week. Take care.